I'm James Hunt, and what I'm about to share with you is not medical theory, internet advice, or some motivational speech designed to make you feel good for 5 minutes before you forget it tomorrow morning. These are lessons I learned the hard way. Because for most of my life, I thought health was something you only worried about when you got sick. As long as I could still work, still move, still get through the day, I assumed everything was fine. But the truth is, your body can stay quiet for years while problems slowly build underneath the surface. And by the time most people finally pay attention, they're no longer trying to improve their health. They're trying to recover what they already lost. So sit with me for a few minutes. Don't rush through this, because the 10 mistakes we're about to talk about are far more common than people realize. In fact, there's a very good chance you're making at least a few of them right now without even noticing. And the scary part is, most of these mistakes don't feel dangerous when they begin. They feel normal. Most people think they're managing their health because they take a few vitamins, drink more water than they used to, or promise themselves they'll start taking it seriously next month. That's not health management. That's negotiation. And your body is keeping score while you bargain with it. I'm telling you this because by the time most people realize they've been making mistakes, the damage is already expensive, painful, or permanent. High blood pressure doesn't usually arrive with fireworks. Neither does burnout. Neither does diabetes, chronic fatigue, or the slow realization that climbing a staircase suddenly feels harder than it used to. What makes this dangerous is that most health mistakes don't feel destructive in the moment. They feel normal. Skipping sleep because work is busy, eating whatever's convenient because you're tired, ignoring checkups because nothing feels wrong, sitting for 10 hours a day because everybody else does too. That's how it starts, quietly. And over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 10 mistakes people make in managing their health that slowly chip away at their quality of life without them noticing. Some of these might irritate you a little. Good. Usually the truth does. Number 1. Treating symptoms instead of fixing habits. This is probably the most common mistake people make. And honestly, I understand why. Habits are hard to change. Pills are easy. Energy drinks are easy. Painkillers are easy. Fast food is easy. You know what's difficult? Going to bed on time for 6 months straight. Walking every day. Reducing sugar. Managing stress before it becomes illness. A friend of mine, Martin, used to keep antacids in every room of his house. Kitchen drawer, bedside table, car glove compartment, office desk. He joked about it constantly. Said his heartburn was just part of getting older. What he never questioned was why his body needed emergency relief every single day. 3 heavy meals at night, alcohol before bed, constant stress, 4 hours of sleep, and somehow he believed the problem was the acid. That's what people do. They treat the alarm instead of the fire. Your body is incredibly forgiving for a long time. That's the dangerous part. You can abuse it for years before consequences arrive, which tricks people into thinking consequences aren't coming at all. But eventually, the bill shows up. The exhaustion becomes chronic. The weight becomes harder to lose. The headaches become normal. The blood pressure numbers creep higher every year, until one day, a doctor looks at you differently than before. More serious, less casual. And suddenly, the thing you ignored for 10 years becomes the center of your life. Most health problems aren't random lightning strikes. They're patterns, repeated quietly, daily, over decades. You cannot manage your health while refusing to manage your habits. Number 2, believing stress is just part of being successful. People wear stress like it's proof they matter. Busy schedule, constant pressure, no rest, phone always buzzing. Somewhere along the line, exhaustion became a status symbol. I knew a man named Richard who used to brag that he only slept 4 hours a night. Said sleep was for lazy people. He built a successful business, made good money, drove a beautiful car. From the outside, he looked like somebody winning at life. At 51, he collapsed during a meeting. Not dramatic movie style, just suddenly couldn't breathe properly. Chest tightness, dizzy, confused. His body finally said, "Enough." And the scary part is this: his breakdown didn't begin that day. It began years earlier. Every ignored warning sign mattered. The tension headaches, the irritability, the constant fatigue, the elevated blood pressure, the terrible sleep. His body had been whispering before it started screaming. Stress is not only emotional, it becomes physical eventually. Your heart feels it, your immune system feels it, your digestion feels it, your sleep feels it. Chronic stress changes the way your body operates. And yet people keep treating it like some invisible thing that doesn't count because you can't hold it in your hand. You can't push through forever. At some point, your body collects the debt. And here's the irony most people realize too late. Half the things they destroyed their health for didn't matter nearly as much as they thought they would. The extra hours, the unnecessary pressure, the constant urgency. Most of it fades, but your damaged health stays with you. Rest is not laziness. Recovery is not weakness. And a person who never slows down usually doesn't notice they're falling apart until something finally breaks. Number 3, ignoring small problems because they seem manageable. This one ruins people slowly. A little knee pain becomes constant knee pain. Mild fatigue becomes your everyday personality. Occasional back stiffness becomes something you organize your life around. But because the change happens gradually, people adapt instead of reacting. That's the trap. Human beings can normalize almost anything if it happens slowly enough. I had an uncle who ignored a persistent cough for nearly 2 years. Always had a reason. Allergies, weather changes, dust. It's nothing serious. That phrase alone has probably delayed more medical treatment than fear ever has. Eventually, his wife forced him to see a doctor. The issue wasn't nothing. It was advanced enough by then that treatment became harder, more expensive, and far more frightening than it needed to be. And I see this constantly with people's health management. They wait for unbearable pain before taking action. But the body usually whispers before it screams. Trouble sleeping, constant tiredness, shortness of breath, frequent headaches, brain fog, digestive issues, weight changes, mood swings. Those things matter. Your body does not randomly create symptoms for entertainment. It's trying to communicate something. And ignoring early warning signs because you're still technically functioning is like ignoring smoke because the house hasn't burned down yet. The healthiest people I know are not necessarily the most athletic or the most disciplined. Usually, they're the most attentive. They notice changes early. They take symptoms seriously. They respect prevention instead of gambling on recovery, because recovery is always harder. People think strength means tolerating discomfort for as long as possible. Sometimes strength is making the appointment, changing the habit, asking the question, taking the warning seriously before life forces you to. Your health rarely collapses all at once. Most of the time, it erodes quietly while you convince yourself everything is fine. Number 4, using age as an excuse to give up on yourself. I hear this constantly. Well, I'm not young anymore. This is just what happens after 40. My body's finished. At my age, what do you expect? Some people start surrendering to decline decades before real decline even begins. Now, listen carefully. Aging is real. Nobody escapes it. Your body changes. Recovery slows down. Energy shifts. That's true. But a shocking amount of what people blame on age is actually inactivity, poor habits, untreated stress, terrible sleep, and years of neglect finally catching up. Those are not the same thing. I met a man at 72 who started walking every morning because his doctor warned him about his heart. The first week, he could barely finish 10 minutes without stopping. A year later, he had lost weight, lowered his blood pressure, improved his balance, and looked more alive than people 20 years younger than him. Not because he became young again, because he stopped acting like improvement was impossible. That mindset matters more than people think. The moment someone believes their health can no longer improve, they stop trying. They stop moving, stop learning, stop adjusting habits. And once effort disappears, deterioration speeds up. Your body responds to how you treat it at almost every age. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not dramatically, but consistently. Strength can improve. Mobility can improve. Sleep can improve. Energy can improve. Mental sharpness can improve. Not overnight, not magically, but gradually. The saddest thing isn't aging itself. It's watching people abandon themselves long before they had to. Because health management isn't about becoming 25 again. It's about giving yourself the highest quality of life possible for the years you actually have left. And that's worth fighting for at any age. Number 5, believing exercise only counts if it's extreme. This mistake stops countless people from even starting. Somewhere along the line, health became associated with punishment. People think if they're not doing brutal workouts, running marathons, lifting enormous weights, or collapsing on the floor sweating, then it doesn't count. So they do nothing instead. That mentality is ridiculous. Your body benefits from movement far more than it benefits from intensity alone. Walking matters. Stretching matters. Sleeping properly matters. Consistency matters more than occasional heroics. I had a neighbor named Gloria who started exercising at 67. And when I say exercising, I mean she walked slowly around her block every evening with a water bottle and a sun hat. That was it. No fitness tracker, no gym membership, no transformation videos. But she kept doing it. 6 months later, her knees hurt less, she had more energy, her doctor reduced one of her medications, she slept better, her mood improved. And meanwhile, there were younger people paying for expensive gyms they barely visited because they kept waiting for motivation to suddenly arrive like lightning from the sky. Health management is usually less dramatic than people want it to be. It's not one giant decision. It's repeated small ones. Taking the stairs, standing up more often, going outside, cooking instead of ordering, moving your body even when you don't feel like it. People underestimate how dangerous inactivity really is because it feels harmless. Sitting down all day feels comfortable. Comfortable rarely feels dangerous in the moment. But the human body was not designed to remain motionless for most of its life. Movement is maintenance. And you do not need to become an athlete to dramatically improve your health. You just need to stop living like your body is optional. Number 6, sacrificing sleep like it's negotiable. People destroy their health trying to steal extra hours from the night and then wonder why everything feels harder. Poor sleep affects almost every system in the body. Your concentration drops, your patience disappears, your appetite changes, your stress increases, your immune system weakens, your recovery slows down. And yet people talk about sleep like it's some optional luxury reserved for people with easy lives. I'll sleep later. I can function on 4 hours. I'm just a night person. No, most of the time you're an exhausted person who adapted to feeling terrible. I used to know a woman named Carla who survived almost entirely on caffeine and determination. Up at 5 a.m., working late, watching television until midnight because that was her only free time. Every morning, she woke up already tired. But because she'd lived that way for years, she thought it was normal. That's another dangerous thing about health problems. Once something becomes familiar, people stop recognizing it as unhealthy. Constant fatigue should not feel normal. Waking up exhausted should not feel normal. Needing stimulants just to function every day should not feel normal. Sleep is when your body repairs itself. That's not motivational language. That's biology. And the damage from chronic sleep deprivation doesn't always appear immediately. It builds quietly. Weight gain, memory issues, anxiety, high blood pressure, burnout, emotional instability. People think they're handling it, because they're still showing up to work and answering messages. Meanwhile, their body is operating like a phone stuck on 8% battery all day. You cannot manage your health while constantly refusing your body recovery. Rest is productive. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is go to bed earlier and stop treating exhaustion like an achievement. Number 7. Assuming mental health has nothing to do with physical health. This mistake is far more dangerous than people realize. Stress, anxiety, loneliness, resentment, burnout, depression. People treat these like separate emotional categories floating somewhere outside the body. But your body experiences all of it. A mind under constant pressure eventually creates a body under constant pressure too. I knew a man who developed stomach problems so severe he changed his entire diet trying to fix them. Cut out dairy, then sugar, then gluten. Spent hundreds on supplements. Nothing worked. You know what finally changed things? Retirement. The problem wasn't only food. The problem was that he'd spent 20 years living in permanent tension. Angry boss, financial stress, constant pressure. His nervous system never relaxed, and the body remembers that. People underestimate loneliness too. Isolation affects health more than most people think. Human beings are not designed to go through life emotionally disconnected from everybody around them. Yet millions of people spend years pretending they're fine while carrying enormous emotional weight privately. That burden shows up eventually. Poor sleep, fatigue, high blood pressure, addictive behaviors, weakened immunity, chronic stress. And still people say things like, I just need to toughen up. No, sometimes you need support. There is nothing weak about therapy, nothing weak about rest, nothing weak about asking for help, nothing weak about admitting you're overwhelmed. In fact, denial usually does far more damage than honesty ever will. Good health management is not just about muscles, calories, or blood tests. It's also about emotional stability, meaningful relationships, peace of mind, and the ability to recover mentally from life's pressure. Because eventually the mind and body stop pretending they're separate things. Number 8, waiting until your health gets worse before making changes. This is one of the strangest things human beings do. A person will ignore their body for years, but the moment a doctor mentions surgery, medication, or a serious diagnosis, suddenly they're ready to change everything overnight. Why did it take fear? Why do people wait for disaster before they start protecting themselves? I had a coworker years ago named Elaine who was warned repeatedly about her blood sugar levels. Not dangerously high yet, but moving steadily in the wrong direction. Her doctor told her plainly, more movement, better eating habits, less processed food. Nothing changed. Not because she didn't understand, because the consequences still felt distant. Then came the diagnosis, and suddenly she was reading nutrition labels, walking every evening, researching recipes, monitoring everything carefully. She eventually improved her health significantly, But she admitted something painful afterward. She said, "I wish I had listened before I got scared." Most people don't lack information. They lack urgency. The problem is that prevention feels unrewarding at first. You don't immediately feel your arteries getting healthier. You don't instantly notice future diseases being avoided. The benefits are quiet and delayed, but neglect is delayed too. That's why unhealthy habits are so deceptive. The consequences usually arrive long after the behavior feels normal, years later, decades later. At the exact moment, people wish they had taken things seriously sooner. And look, nobody manages their health perfectly. Nobody eats perfectly forever. Nobody exercises perfectly forever. That's not realistic. But waiting until your body forces change upon you is a brutal strategy. Preventive care matters. Checkups matter. Small adjustments matter. Early action matters. Because it is far easier to maintain health than it is to rebuild it once it's broken. Number 9, trusting trends more than consistency. Every year there's a new miracle solution. A new diet, a new supplement, a new detox, a new secret people swear changed their life in 2 weeks. And people jump from one trend to another, hoping health can be hacked instead of built. That mindset keeps people trapped, because real health management is usually boring. Drink more water. Sleep properly. Move consistently. Reduce stress. Eat reasonably well most of the time. Get regular checkups. Repeat for years. That's it. But people hate boring answers, because boring answers require patience. I watched a friend spend hundreds of dollars on powders, cleanses, special teas, expensive programs, and complicated routines, while still sleeping 5 hours a night and eating fast food 3 times a week. That's like pouring perfume on garbage and calling it clean. The basics matter more than people want them to. And the fitness industry knows this. That's why complicated solutions sell so well. Simple and consistent is not exciting marketing, but it works far more reliably than most trends ever will. People also make the mistake of trying to change everything at once. New diet, new workout, wake up at 5 a.m. No sugar, no carbs, meditation every day, cold showers, gym twice daily. Then 2 weeks later, they quit everything because the lifestyle became impossible to sustain. Health management is not about intensity. It's about durability. The best routine is the one you can actually maintain when life becomes stressful, busy, and imperfect. A short walk done consistently beats an extreme workout abandoned after 3 weeks. Reasonable eating habits maintained for years beat crash diets repeated every January. Your body responds to repetition, not temporary motivation, not internet trends, not dramatic promises. Consistency looks unimpressive in the short term, but over time, it changes almost everything. Number 10. Forgetting that your health determines the quality of almost every other part of your life. This is the final mistake, And honestly, it may be the biggest one. People sacrifice their health for money, productivity, convenience, entertainment, or temporary comfort, as if health is separate from the rest of life. It isn't. Your health affects your energy, your relationships, your mood, your confidence, your independence, your ability to enjoy ordinary moments. Without health, even good things become harder to enjoy. I remember visiting an older relative years ago after he developed severe mobility problems. And what struck me wasn't only the pain he was in, it was how small his world had become. Simple things became complicated. Walking outside, traveling, sleeping comfortably, playing with grandchildren. Even getting dressed took effort. And he said something I never forgot. He looked at me and said, "You don't think about your body much when it works." That's true. Good health is invisible until it starts disappearing. Most people spend years chasing bigger houses, bigger salaries, bigger achievements, while quietly neglecting the one thing that determines whether they'll actually be able to enjoy any of it later. And listen, this isn't about becoming obsessed with health. It's not about perfection. You're still supposed to enjoy life, eat good food, rest, celebrate, live. But manage your health like it matters, because it does. The quality of your future is being shaped right now by ordinary daily decisions that seem small in the moment. What you eat, how you sleep, how you handle stress, whether you move your body, whether you pay attention when something feels wrong, whether you keep postponing the care you know you need. Those decisions accumulate, and most people don't realize how valuable feeling healthy truly is until they lose it for a while. So, if even one of these mistakes felt familiar, don't wait for the perfect time to change something. Start smaller than that. Drink more water tomorrow. Take the walk. Book the appointment. Go to sleep earlier. Pay attention to your body instead of fighting it. Health rarely changes through one massive decision. Usually, it changes through small corrections, repeated consistently over time. If this video made you stop and think for even a moment, don't ignore that feeling. Your health is one of the few things in life you can lose slowly without noticing until it starts changing everything else around you. So tell me in the comments, which of these 10 mistakes do you think people struggle with the most? Or better yet, which one hit closest to home for you? And if you found value in this video, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we're building a space here for honest conversations about health, life, aging, and the habits that quietly shape our future. Take care of yourself. You only get one body, and it's carrying you through your entire life.